The girl only wanted to test her invisibility powers, but 3 seconds in, she was completely exposed to him. Why? Because his ability lets him absorb and counter any other power. This is a world consumed by the apocalypse. A sudden meteor shower brought with it a mysterious virus turning over 80% of the population into man-eating monsters, and the few who survived, those who awakened powers became the new overlords. Now the streets are no longer safe, just endless hordes of undead hungry for flesh. In a shady loan company office, a man was tied up and forced to kneel as a group of thugs barked at him, "Talk. Who else was planning to escape with you?" A man lounging on the couch snapped, "I feed you rats and this is how you repay me." Stealing and running. A woman beside him added with a sneer, "Filthy vermin, all of them, they deserve to die." The beaten man spat out a mouthful of blood then growled through clenched teeth, "Living under a monster like you. I'd rather die. I should have never trusted that bitch, Anna. She ruined everything and got us exposed." Anna paused at the accusation, then stepped forward and slapped him hard. "I belong to Lord Butcher now. You think you still have the right to say my name?" Regret filled the man's eyes. "If I had known this is who you'd become, I never would have saved you when the world fell apart." Anna looked down at him with disdain, still whining about the past, pathetic. She turned toward the man on the couch. "Lord Butcher, what should we do with this trash?" He chuckled. "Trash, toss it. That's what you do with garbage. Remember this, in this world, power rules all." With that, Lord Butcher launched a devastating punch, sending the man flying out the window, crashing to the ground below with a sickening thud. Standing on the upper floor, Anna looked down at the man's broken body and asked, "Lord Butcher, why didn't you just drain him with your power?" Butcher scoffed, "Trash like him isn't even worth the effort. Let the zombies downstairs have a little treat." Sure enough, the undead began to shuffle closer, drooling hungrily as they closed in on the body. But the man's eyes flickered with defiance. "Superhumans, I swear one day I'll kill every last one of you." The next moment, he was jolted awake only to take a punch right to the face. "Stay away from Anna, or next time, I'll break your damn legs." He hit the ground hard, completely confused. "What the hell? Wasn't I already killed by those mutated freaks? There's no pain, no wounds, not even hunger. I should have been starving denim, my body was practically falling apart before. So why do I feel fine? Where am I?" Just as he tried to piece things together, a guy in a yellow jacket swaggered over, ignoring me. "You must be new here. Time to show you who runs this school." The man muttered, "Aren't you with Chong Sudong's crew?" The yellow jacket guy yanked him up by the collar. "Chong Sudong, Chong whatever, I'm the real boss of Southview." But before he could finish bragging, the man struck back with a brutal knee to the gut, sending him flying across the room. The guy in yellow dropped to his knees, blood spilling from his mouth. He barked at his lackeys. "What are you idiots staring at? Get him. Break his legs." His crew immediately rushed forward yelling about avenging their boss, but to a man who had survived the end of the world, these punks were barely worth noticing. Their openings were obvious, their moves clumsy, their fighting skills a joke. In just a few moves, he dropped 2 of them with ease. 2 others hesitated, thinking of retreating, but knowing they'd lose face on the streets, they charged in any way. Grabbing a bat and a knife, they lunged at him. The man's eyes turned sharp. He grabbed the wrist of the one with the knife in a flash. The guy with the bat tried to sneak up from behind, but it was like he had eyes in the back of his head. He threw an elbow straight into the guy's groin, then spun around and landed a brutal punch to the gut. Both dropped like sacks of potatoes that he caught the falling knife midair, clean, fast, deadly. He pointed the blade at the yellow-jacketed thug, "Leave or die." The thug instantly folded. "I'm gone. I'm gone." As the man finally exhaled thinking it was over, the thug suddenly lunged with wild eyes, blade aimed straight for his chest. The outcome was clear. Yellow Jacket had his head bashed in with one swing landing next to his down goons. Staring at the pile of bodies, he tossed aside the weapon and muttered, "Am I dreaming or is this just my dying hallucination?" His body still felt a little weak, but compared to how he'd been before, this was a miracle. What the hell was going on? He pulled out his phone and froze. The date read, May time, 9:33 a.m. That was exactly 1 week before the apocalypse began in his past life. This can't be real, can it? He had to confirm it. He rushed to the window and outside, the world was still normal. Cars on the road, people walking by, no chaos in sight. A smile slowly crept onto his face. I actually came back, 1 week before it all goes to hell. But there was no time to celebrate. If he wanted to survive, he needed to start hoarding supplies now. Only then could he fix the mistakes of his past. Suddenly, a mechanical voice echoed in his mind, "Ding, host detected." He looked up in shock. A holographic panel floated in the air before him. Evolution system successfully bound. System display frowny face level, 1 evolution rate, 0%, HP, 9999, strength, 7, agility, 8 defense, 7 that this system absorbs external energy to help the host evolve and surpass all biological limits. He squinted at the screen thinking hard. Evolution system. What am I gonna become, some kind of superhuman? The system responded, that's correct. Energy absorbed can be converted into superpowers. Warning, conversion rate is extremely low. He raised an eyebrow. So theoretically, I can absorb any kind of energy. All right then. Let's see if the system is real or just smoke and mirrors. Without hesitation, he flipped the power breaker and shoved his hand into the live current. Instantly, the entire school lost power. Students poured out of classrooms cheering, no classes. Let's go. His body crackled with electricity as he bolted down the hallway. He moved so fast, 2 students barely caught a blow zipping between them. He came to a stop downstairs feeling a faint surge of power within him. So it actually works that I really can absorb energy. Then came the system prompt. Warning, when energy is depleted, abilities will cease to function. He asked, what's my current level? A panel appeared, frowny face evolution level. 1, progress. 2% that he was stunned. Seriously? I drained the whole school and only got 2%. The system explained, electricity is a low-tier energy source that TO evolve faster. You need to absorb supernatural energy, but that wouldn't appear until the apocalypse began in 1 week. Reaching level 2 wasn't going to be easy. System notice, 168 hours until apocalypse begins. New task, gather essential resources, food, water, and weapons within 72 hours. Along with the task, the system provided a detailed map of local supply points and unlocked the system inventory. The system space could store any item the host touched, but storing living beings required their consent. He couldn't help but grin, not bad. This system might actually be the real deal. The moment he touched the glowing cube, the system projected a detailed resource map and suggested he head to the nearest supply point. One glance at the marked location and his eyes lit up, but he knew this place like the back of his hand. It looks like fate's finally throwing me a bone this time. Deep down, he made a silent vow. Not again, that I won't let the past repeat itself. This time, I'll make sure you all pay. Following the system's directions, he quickly arrived at the target site. A large department store stood before him, stocked with every kind of essential. There was still over 100 hours left until doomsday began. The system's survival task was clear. Within 3 days, gather enough food, water, and weapons to secure a foothold. Whistling casually, he strolled through the aisles, brushing his fingers across shelves as he passed. Every item he touched vanished into the system's storage space. But after all that effort, the mission progress barely budged, just 0.6%. You've got to be kidding me. At this rate, I'll be collecting until the apocalypse is over. Then he reminded himself, this store wasn't just about the surface-level supplies. His real target was Chong Sadorn. If he could get his hands on the stash Chong secretly hid here, he'd hit the jackpot and finish the task in one go. Sneaking around the side of the store, he slipped into a hidden corridor where 2 guards stood stationed in front of a locked door. As he approached, the 2 guards snapped, "Hey, who are you? This area is off limits." He didn't respond, but sparks of electricity crackled in his palm. One of guards scowled. "Hey, we are talking to you. Are you?" He could finish. A surge of lightning arced out, zapping them both with a sizzling crack. Their faces twisted in pain as they dropped like sacks of meat. System alert, energy reserves below 5%. He pushed open the door behind them. What greeted him was a completely different world, a glitzy underground club, neon lights, loud music, the smell of booze and smoke. As he scanned the room, someone rushed toward him. It was Anna. She clung to his arm, pressing her chest against him. "Brother Luo, how? What are you doing here? This place is sketchy." Luo Hao blinked, instantly annoyed. "Her again, seriously. I can't sneak into a place without running into this woman." Anna rambled on. "Please, you have to get out. My classmates tricked me into gambling that I only played 3 rounds and lost over 200k. They won't let me leave." A burly man stepped in, smirking. "Trying to play the hero kid, then cough up the 200k she owes." Luo Hao glanced at him silent. The mood suddenly turned tense. Anna whispered, "Luo Hao, can you just lend me 20k? They said if I pay that much, they'll let me go." Luo Hao smiled faintly. "Hope, is that so?" Thinking she'd won him over, Anna leaned in harder, pouting and rubbing his arm. "Luo Hao, please, I'm begging you." But in the next, Luo Hao gently peeled her hand off. "Sorry. Not really my problem. You gentlemen enjoy." Luo Hao turned and left without another word, leaving Anna frozen in disbelief. One of thugs scoffed, "Didn't you say that simp would crawl over glass for you?" He didn't even say a word. "Guess there's no cash coming from him." Anna ruffled her hair in frustration. "He wasn't like this before. Maybe I'm losing my charm." Another man shrugged. "Forget it. We were just messing with him anyway, but then his tone shifted. Still something's offed out. What the student doing here alone? Sent a few guys to keep an eye on him. His eyes, they had that I've killed before vibe. Or maybe I'm just being paranoid. Meanwhile, in the restroom, two thugs were quietly searching stalls. Luo Hao spotted them through the mirror and muttered, "Knew it, can't run into Anna without getting dragged into some mess." He quickly recalled the man from earlier, Viper Zhao Eugene, one of Chong Sudan's four lieutenants, a calculating strategist wrapped in a thug's body, and no wonder he caught on so fast. One of the thugs grumbled while searching, "Why the hell is the boss so jumpy over some student?" The other replied, "That's why he's the boss. He doesn't leave anything to chance." Luo Hao checked himself. Only enough energy left for one final move. Quiet as a shadow, he crept behind the two men. Then he struck, slamming their heads together and unleashing his last jolt of electricity. The fight was over in seconds. Looking at the scorched bodies on the floor, Luo Hao let out a long breath. Finally, that should be the last of them. Now I can get downstairs in peace. But then clicked out a cold gun barrel pressed against his temple. Boss Xiao was right. You're more than just suspicious, kid. A gunshot rang out loud enough for the entire underground club to hear. Panic rippled through the crowd. People looked around confused and alarmed. A voice echoed from the stage. "Attention, everyone. Due to a sudden emergency, our venue is now closed. Please exit through the main entrance in an orderly fashion." Though annoyed, the patrons had no choice but to leave grumbling as they went. With the room cleared, Zhao Eugene watched the security feed and muttered, "So my guys already got into a fight with him. Definitely suspicious. Good thing I plan ahead. I trust Pajun's methods, but try not to kill him just yet. That I've got questions." Back with Luo Hao. Pajun's shot missed by inches as Luo Hao twisted out of the way, the bullet slamming into the wall behind him. Pajun raised his gun again, voice cold as ice, "Turn around, hands on your head, and no sudden moves, or next time, it's your skull." Staring at the man in front of him, Luo Hao's memory kicked in. He was beginning to remember who this guy was. A flash from his past life surfaced. He had given all his food to Anna and spent days doubled over in pain from starvation. Back then, it was Pajun who tossed him a bag of food, saving him from starving to death. He had slapped Luo Hao on the back and said, "Name's Pajun from now on, you're with me. We'll scavenge together." Luo Hao froze for a moment, remembering that moment with mixed feelings. "To think we'd meet again like this." But Pajun barked, "What are you spacing out for? Turn around." Luo quickly tried to explain. "Wait. This is all a misunderstanding. I got lost and slipped in the bathroom." Pajun rolled his eyes. "Say to Fajao that I just shoot things." Just then, Luo Hao spotted an electrical panel nearby. A smirk crept across his face. "My luck's not bad today, but Pajun's still trash as always." Without warning, he jammed his hand into the panel. Bang! The entire underground facility went pitch black. One thug asked nervously, "Boss Zhao, should we check on Pijun?" Zhao Eugene waved him off. "No need. Send a couple guys to look, focus on restoring the power. The rest of you, guard the main entrance. That kid's probably just a decoy." Meanwhile, Luo Hao's body surged with electricity, arcs of energy crackling across his skin. Bullets fired by Pajun. He dodged them with ease, barely even trying. Pajun stared in disbelief. This kid, is he even human? Seeing Luo Hao charge in, Pajun immediately sidestepped to dodge the attack. With a flick of his wrist, he drew a sharp dagger hidden in his sleeve. Without hesitation, he lunged forward aiming to stab Luo Hao at close range. But Luo Hao vanished in a blur, narrowly avoiding the deadly strike. The two quickly distanced themselves. Luo Hao chuckled, "Phew. That was close. You're really aiming to kill, still hiding a spring-loaded blade in your left arm." Classic Pajun. Pajun froze. How the hell does he know that? Who is this kid? Meanwhile, Luo Hao was already calculating. The gunshot must have alerted Zhao Eugene. Reinforcements could be here any and no time to reminisce. Pajun narrowed his eyes watching the strange arcs of electricity flicker across Luo Hao's body. He raised his gun cautiously, but in the blink of an eye, Luo Hao vanished. When he reappeared, he was right behind Pajun. When did he? Pajun didn't hesitate. He spun around and lashed out with his blade, but Luo Hao easily caught his wrist mid-strike. In that instant, electricity surged from Luo Hao's body directly into Pajun's arm. Pajun convulsed violently, completely overwhelmed by the shock, barely able to stay on his feet. Suddenly, a strange noise came from behind Luo Hao. The next boom, a gas explosion rocked the entire basement. Luo Hao quickly yanked Pajun to safety. "Damn. Did I accidentally ignite a gas line with my charge? Draining the whole casino's power might have been overkill. Crap. That I was trying to conserve energy. Now I've almost burned through it all just dodging the blast." But then he noticed something. The explosion had blown open a hidden path. Well, an unexpected bonus. Looks like a secret route deeper into the basement. Just as Luo Hao is about to jump in, Pajun stirred and grown awake. That blast was your doing too, wasn't it? Why didn't you kill me? You could have finished me off anytime. Why save me? Who the hell are you? Luo Hao didn't answer. He just stared silently. Huju narrowed his eyes. Can't say. Fine. Let me give you some advice. Your little tricks, still miles behind his level. You know who really owns this place. Chong Sedong. Before he could finish, Luo squatted down and zapped him again. No wonder you were in the Wolf-on unit that you're tough. That last shot should have knocked out anyone. Pajun slumped unconscious. Luo Hao turned and jumped down into the newly exposed tunnel. Chong Sedong, not worth talking about. He's already a dead man walking. Meanwhile, a panicked thug ran up to report. Boss Zhao, bad news. One of the back hallway pipes just exploded. Zhao Yujin's eyes narrowed. Where's Pijun? Wasn't he stationed there? He's down unconscious. Just then, Anna walked in with a weird little limp whining. Oh my, what a loud bang. I think I twisted my waist. Smack. Zhao Yujin slapped her across the face without warning. Anna stumbled back, terrified. Zhao Yujin, what was that for? Zhao Yujin grabbed her face and sneered. The punk who took down Chang's top enforcer. Is your little lapdog. You think I'm an idiot? Tie her up now. As two goons closed in, Anna panicked. Wait. You've got it wrong, Zhao Ji. I don't even know that guy that well. Please. But Zhao Yujin ignored her and turned to leave with two of his best men. Boss, the explosion happened near the restrooms. Why are we heading this way? Zhao replied coldly. You think a guy like that came for the toilet? No. His target's the supply vault. Meanwhile, Luo Hao had arrived at the entrance of the vault, a massive steel-reinforced door sealed tight. Without hesitation, he kicked it open with a thunderous boom. He stepped inside and muttered, this is the so-called supply vault, more like an underground fortress. Luo Hao stared in shock at the mountain of supplies before him. Emergency rations, clean water, clothes, solar panels, even a full weapons cache. What the hell was Chong Sedong planning? This is insane. Without hesitation, he kicked into full loot mode. Everything in sight went straight into his system space. Mission progress soared, 25%, 40%, 77%, jackpot that I'm taking everything. As he packed up the guns, something blue caught his eye on the table. Wait, isn't that an energy stone? These things weren't supposed to show up until after the apocalypse started. Why is it already here? Chong Sedong stockpiled all this stuff. Was he preparing for the apocalypse too? Coincidence? Or was there something going on before I was reborn? Something I never knew. He shook off the thought. Whatever. If I can absorb this now, I'll awaken powers before anyone else. That's game over. Just then, the system chimed, energy stone detected, absorption disabled, host is already system bound. Seriously? This junky system has limitations now. Find out. He tossed the stone into his system space to figure it out later. As he did, ding, mission progress. 100% survival prep task complete. Congratulations. Whoa. That stone alone finished the entire mission. This thing's a gold mine. System reward triggered, congratulations. New ability unlocked, energy conversion. Luo Hao froze for a moment and asked, energy conversion, how is that different from the way I used to absorb energy through you? System response, energy conversion allows the host to extract and transform energy from any object at a perfect 1-to-1 ratio with zero loss. Luo has eyes lit up. So basically, say a plus version, system. That interpretation is acceptable. Well, then even if the mission's complete, I might as well clean out the rest of this bunker while I'm at it. Just then, Zhao Yujin barged in with a group of men. Well, looks like we've cornered a pesky little rat that you've got nowhere left to run. Kill him. His men opened fire instantly, bullets raining down as Luo Hao ducked behind a storage rack. One thug reported, boss, we checked. No one else here but him. Zhao's eyes narrowed. The vault was completely empty and no one had left. The exits were all blocked. The walls were intact. He growled, keep your eyes peeled. Don't let him leave alive. Meanwhile, his mind raced. How the hell did that kid move everything so fast? Is he one of them behind a shelf? Luo Hao was getting anxious. Damn it. I got cocky. This place is huge and I wasted too much time looting. Can't believe Zhao Yujin showed up already. He peeked out. The gunfire was intense. Fortunately, the storage room had blind spots that I've got just enough energy for one last move. If they get close, maybe I got a shot. Suddenly, the door behind him creaked open. Two thugs stood there, guns pointed right at him. Luo Hao cursed under his breath that, of course, there's a hidden door. Who even builds his crap? No choice now. I'm burning the last of my charge. He sprang up, a streak of lightning flashing forward as he charged the two men head-on. The two thugs panicked and opened fire on Luo Hao without hesitation. Instinctively, he raised his hand to block, but a bullet grazed his palm, cutting it open. Then something surreal happened. The wound morphed into a tiny mouth with sharp teeth that ate the bullet and converted it into energy. Luo Hao launched himself into the air, spinning mid-flight, then landed cleanly right in front of the two stunned gunmen. One of them stammered, "Wait, did we hit him? That thing on his hand?" At that moment, the energy conversion completed. Luo Hao launched a spinning kick, sending one thug's gun flying, the weapon snapping in half midair. His eyes lit up with excitement. It worked. The bullet's kinetic energy actually converted into power. Now if only I knew how to turn this creepy little mouth off. Am I stuck with it forever? More thugs closed in from the side, sneering. Well, looks like the mouse ran into the trap on his own. Don't get cocky. He took down Pajun. This guy's no joke. Please, what can he possibly do now? He's surrounded. Another thug raised his gun and fired, but Luo Hao simply lifted his hand. The bullet was swallowed whole by the tiny mouth, which then spat out the casing with an annoyed grunt. He turned his palm toward them, letting them stare right into the bizarre, grinning maw. The gunman froze speechless, then full panic. What the hell is that? They screamed, firing wildly as they stumbled backward in terror. Without hesitation, Luo Hao raised his palm, mouth and all, and started absorbing the energy from the flying bullets. Seriously, it's just two holes with teeth. Why are they freaking out like I turned into a demon? While absorbing bullet momentum, he casually kicked one of the gunmen across the room, then it hit him. Right? This is before people even knew what mutants were. With a smirk, he turned around and placed both palms directly onto the barrels of two terrified gunmen. The two thugs screamed and opened fire in panic. Shells clattered to the floor like rain. Finally, click, they were out of bullets. The little mouth on Luo Hao's hand let out a loud, satisfied burp. Luo Hao grinned and grabbed both gun barrels. With a sudden yank, he flung the two men off the ground and sent them crashing down like rag dolls. I was hoping to charge up a bit more, but according to the system, once this freaky little mouse spits out the spent rounds, the crack should close. Good that I'd rather not walk around the apocalypse with two mouse on my hands. Still, I wonder if his power works on more than just momentum or strength. As he stared at his hand, deep in thought, far away, a sniper rifle clicked into place, the scope locked on his forehead. A split second later, bang, Luo Hao took a bullet to the shoulder. Did we get him? Confirmed hit. That should have finished it. But then, the sniper heard something. Through the scope, he saw Luo staring right back at him. In the next instant, Luo Hao's eyes glowed red that he roared and threw a punch in the sniper's direction. That hurt, you bastard. Don't panic. He's alone. The guards regrouped and opened fire again, raining bullets toward Luo Hao. Damn it. I was just testing if I could use energy conversion to reinforce my body. Good thing I did, or that shot would have ended me. No, Thomas stall. Who knows how many more ambushes are out there that I need to break through now. He turned and aimed the mouth on his hand toward the incoming bullets. The projectiles were swallowed instantly. Within seconds, the kinetic energy had been fully converted. Luo Hao let out a sharp breath and unleashed it all at once. A single punch sent the squad of gunmen flying like bowling pins. Then from behind him a cold voice spoke. Zhao Eugene stepped out. So you are one of them. Absorbing bullets, making matter disappear, must be some kind of spatial type ability. Right? Luo Hao didn't respond, that he spun on a dime and launched a powerful roundhouse kick. But Zhao transformed mid-motion. His eyes turned eerie blue. His hands solidified like stone, blocking the attack with ease. What is this? A little baby tap. That tickled. He smirked. You think that's enough to call yourself a superhuman? Pathetic. Now, Zhao Eugene didn't just turn a stone. He grew. With one massive hand, he grabbed Luo Hao by the entire torso. He squeezed hard. Luo Hao let out a cough, spitting blood from the sheer pressure. But in the nick of time, Luo Hao released a surge of electricity. The crackling current forced Zhao Eugene to let go. Gasping for air, Luo Hao frowned. Wait, how does he already have powers? The apocalypse hasn't even started. That is it related to that energy stone. Zhao Yuqi noticed Luo Hao spacing out. He grabbed a chunk of rubble and hurled it directly at his head. Luo Hao raised his hand, trying to absorb the impact with a mouth on his palm, but the force behind the throw was overwhelming. Luo Hao was blown backward several meters. Shit. Not even energy conversion could fully cancel that out. His hand trembled slightly. In my past life, this guy never fought like this. Has he been hiding his strength all along? Zhao Yujin smirked and drew surrounding stone toward himself, forming two massive fists of rock, both looming above Luo Hao's head. Kid, I don't care who sent you. The moment you walked in here, you signed your death warrant, but I'm a generous man that I see talent when it hits me in the face. Hand over the loot, kneel, swear loyalty, and maybe I'll let you live. Luo Hao smirked. You're hilarious. Once something's in my mouth, I don't spit it out. Even if you kneel. Zhao's eyes narrowed. Then I'll bring your corpse to Master Chong, then let's see if the rest of you is as stubborn as that mouth. As the twin stone fist plummeted toward him, Luo Hao kept his cool. This guy's ability is both offense and defense. Regular attacks won't cut it. So he began channeling everything, funneling all his power into his right hand. With a roar, Luo Hao funneled every last drop of energy in his right fist and punched straight at the incoming stone hammer. The moment their fist collided, a deafening shockwave erupted, cracking the floor beneath them. In the next second, Zhao Yajin's massive stone fist shattered into dust. The blast stunned Zhao, eyes wide in disbelief. What? My stone fist destroyed. Before he could recover, Luo Hao lunged forward, grabbed it by the collar, and hoisted him off the ground. Zhao gasped, what the hell is your power? It keeps fluctuating. Were you toying with me this whole time? Luo Hao smirked. Think of it as a little surprise. Now, tell me, where did your power come from? Zhao's pupils contracted sharply, visibly shaken by the question, but then he burst into laughter. You've got powers and don't even know where they came from. Now that's rich. Luo Hao's expression turned cold. Not gonna answer, then take your little secret straight to hell. Zhao quickly panicked. Wait. Listen, we can talk. It's just some stolen supplies. Nothing major. With your strength, we could work together. Seeing Luo Hao unmoved, he threw out a last card. I'm one of Master Chang's top men. If you kill me, he'll come for you. At the mention of Chang Sudong, Luo Hao suddenly loosened his grip and tossed Zhao to the ground. Zhao mistook this as fear, his smug grin returning. But what happened next, he never expected. Luo Hao's right hand sparked with deadly electricity as he said coldly, Chang Sudong, wait for him on the other side. He won't be far behind you. Just as the electric punch was about to crush Zhao's face, Pijun suddenly appeared, throwing himself between them. Luo Hao had to stop mid-punch, the surge bursting into the air behind him with a snap. Luo Hao scowled and shoved Pijun aside. You trying to die? This isn't something a normal guy like you should meddle in. Pijun's entire body trembled, coughing violently. He forced out the words, sorry, but Zhao Yujin can't die yet. His hand shook as he raised his dagger again, barely standing, but still placing himself between Luo Hao and Zhao. Luo Hao narrowed his eyes. Were they holding over you? Pijun said nothing. He simply gritted his teeth, gripping his weapon with what little strength he had left. Just then, Zhao Yujin recovered and began clapping mockingly. Bravo, Pijun. Right on time. Beautiful save. Don't worry. I'll tell Master Chong. You might even get rewarded. Maybe he'll be kind enough to spare your wife and daughter. Luo Hao said coldly, wife and daughter, so that's how you've been blackmailing him. Typical of your filthy tricks. Vile. Xiao sneered. Appreciate the compliment. Still, since you've seen me like this, you know too much. Why don't you and these other losers stay here and blow up together? I'll be sure to speak kindly of you to Master Chong. With that, Zhao turned and bolted, using his power to summon a giant boulder that slammed into place, sealing the exit. Luo Hao growled, coward, runs fast, but what's that ticking sound? He looked up and saw dozens of hand grenades suspended midair. The clicking noise was the sound of their pins being pulled. The next boom, the grenade exploded, lighting up the room like a war zone. The shockwave ripped cracks through the floor tiles. This wasn't just noise, this was structural damage. Without hesitation, Luo Hao clenched his fist and punched the ground exactly where he remembered from his past life. Crack. The floor collapsed beneath them and both Luo Hao and Pijun dropped straight down into the dart below. While falling, Luo Hao cursed aloud. 20 armed thugs waiting up top. Zhao Yujin, you absolute piece of what even are you? As they landed, they glanced up at the exploding warehouse above that. Pijun muttered, I didn't expect a hidden passage under the casino. How the hell did you know about this? Luo Hao suddenly stopped walking, staring dead at Pijun. Pijun took half a step back, awkwardly raising his hands. Wait now. Zhao Yujin isn't here, so I've got no reason to fight you. All right. Luo kept walking, voice like ice. Why not just kill that bastard straight up? He nearly turned us in a roast meat. I swear I can still hear my kidney screaming. But Jun's face darkened. No. He can't die. Not until I find out where he locked up my wife and daughter. Then he glanced at Luo Hao's injuries and added grimly, but you better patch yourself up soon, and if you don't treat that iron leg, there's no saving them. Why you spare me twice, even shielded me from that explosion. Whether you meant to or not, I owe you my life. If I ever find my wife and daughter again, this life of mine will be yours. Luo Hao raised an eyebrow to Oh, this guy's been talking like a wannabe war god even before the apocalypse. Was he a walking soldier novel protagonist? He casually sat down on the broken floor and waved it off. I'm not interested in your life. Thanks. But you're right. We should deal with our injuries. I can barely feel my arm. Pijun glanced around the rundown basement and frowned. This place is a dump. You should head out fast. No medkits. No supplies here. Luo Hao ignored him. With a snap of his fingers, glowing light surged around him and a full set of medical gear materialized out of thin air. While patching him up, Pijun asked in awe, So this is what you people call a gift. Is that what happened to Zhao Eugene too with that free transformation? Luo Hao blinked. Zhao Eugene didn't tell him anything. Pijun smirked bitterly. You think he'd share the kind of intel with a guy he only keeps around by threatening his wife and daughter? Luo Hao nodded, fair. Then muttered to himself, damn. I keep forgetting we're not in the apocalypse yet. Still waiting for that giant space rock to drop. Once he was done patching himself up, Luo Hao tossed the rest of the gear to Pijun. Your turn. Patch yourself up. Pijun hesitated. Why? I literally tried to kill you just now. Luo Hao shrugged. You're still looking for your family, right? Can't do that if you die in this dump. I know this lowest level well. They might be hidden down here. How about we search together? Pijun lowered his head, guilt flashing in his eyes. My apologies. I thought you were another thug working with Zhao Eugene. But now, turns out you're actually one of the good ones. Luo Hao grinned and joked, go find your family already. I'll just casually loot everything on B3 while you're gone. Pijun's eye twitched. I literally just pull my heart out. Could you maybe wait 5 minutes before planning your double cross? Leading the way with a flashlight, Pijun muttered, ground floor, supermarket. Below that, underground casino, then a secret warehouse. And now there's a hidden tunnel under that. What the hell was Changsudong building? A bunker theme park. Luo Hao noticed the flood of rats running past. Looks like they reworked the sewer system. Probably stretches real far underground. Pijun groaned. How long are we supposed to walk through this mess? Luo Hao looked ahead, calm as ever. Relax. We are almost there. Sure enough, a massive steel door appeared before them. Pijun squinted. Now, what the hell is this place? Luo Hao's gaze sharpened, his inner voice cold. Just as I thought in my last life, this was where Changsudong locked up anyone who refused to submit. I know this place that I lived in it. He eyed the rusted metalwork. This door looks like it's been in use long before the apocalypse even began. Mutation crystals, warehouse systems, and endless downward labyrinth, Changsudong. What exactly were you preparing for? Luo Hao rolled his shoulder and smirked, whatever. Let's loot interrogate later. With that, he kicked the door hard. Clang, clang, clang. The door bounced down the steps, metal screeching, and from the room below came muffled cries. Someone was locked inside. Pijun's eyes widened in shock. A dungeon. Changsudong was hiding people down here. He rushed over to the cages and was horrified to see them packed with prisoners. Almost all of them were young women, disheveled, gaunt, and eerily silent. Pijun slammed his hand against the bars. Hey, are you all right? Where are we? What happened to you? One woman trembled as she mumbled through cracked lips, barely audible. Kill me, please. I don't want to turn into a monster. Monster? Pijun's heart skipped a beat. What are you talking about? I am looking for a woman and a young girl, have you? Before he could finish, Luo Hao cut him off. Pijun, now is not the time. Listen. The two turned toward the darkest part of the dungeon. From behind a heavy steel door came a faint rhythmic knocking. A moment later, a pale hand slowly reached out through the bars, thin, trembling, inhuman. Then more followed. Dozens of deformed limbs and grotesque faces pressed through the cracks, making a strange wet gluck gluck glack noise. The air turned heavy, thick with dread. Luo Hao clenched his fist. We've got a problem. The iron door creaked open and out poured a wave of twisted, malformed creatures straight out of a nightmare. Their mouths spewed out distorted sounds. Goo goo, gega, gluff. Luo Hao's expression darkened. This doesn't make sense. The apocalypse hasn't even started yet. Where the hell did these mutants come from? Worse still, his energy was completely drained from shielding the blast earlier. He glanced at the cage full of helpless women. Damn it. I can't just run. He considered luring the creatures away himself, anything to buy time. But before he could move, Pijun drew his handgun. Come on, you freaks. He roared, unloading round after round, but the bullets barely slowed the creatures. What the hell are these things? Pijun shouted in disbelief. Click. The chamber went empty. No more bullets. And right then, a hulking beast the size of truck lunged at Pijun. Move. Luo Hao roared, diving forward and yanking Pijun out of the way just in time. The creature's eyes glowed neon green and razor-sharp claws gleamed under the dim light. Pijun froze. What the hell are these things, demons? Luo, how did he take his eyes off the enemy? They are low-tier mutants. Stay calm. Bullets won't work. Just stay here and don't draw attention. I've got a plan. If things go south, get the girls out of here on me. I'm heading in. Without hesitation, Luo Hao dashed toward the swarm. From behind, Pijun yelled, voice cracking in panic. Sir, sire. Luo Hao frowned mid-sprint. What's with the screaming? I'm not dead yet. In one swift move, he took down a mutant and ripped something from its body that a smirk crept across his face. Found it just like post-apocalypse, a power core. The other mutant screeched in fury, lunging toward him from all sides. He was instantly surrounded. Sir, Pijun kept shouting from behind. You'd risk your life for a stranger like me, for those imprisoned girls. I've seen this kind of brotherhood on the battlefield. I swear, I will never forget this day. Luo Hao crushed the crystal core in his hand, and just like that, power surged through his body that a surge of electric energy burst outward, crackling violently. Mutants dropped one after another, sizzling under arcs of blinding lightning. Luo Hao was ecstatic. This energy, it's insane. Way tastier than flipping a circuit breaker. As another monster exploded, a flying chunk of flesh smacked Pajun right in the face with a wet splack. He stood there stunned. What just hit me? What kind of power is this? Meanwhile, Luo Hao was already onto the next one, slashing, smashing, and yanking out power cores like a pro. He absorbed each core, instantly recharging like a human battery, and then jumped right into the next wave. One monster lunged only to get stomped in the eye. Its huge eyeball squished under his boot. Trying to run? Dream on. Hand over your crystals. Nobody escapes the loot tax. Luo Hao glanced at the messy pile of glowing low-grade cores in his hand. Man, they are all dim as hell. Feels like I just raided a budget zombie arcade, but hey, no more energy shortage for a while. He looked up to see Pajun still frozen. Dude, didn't I tell you to leave? Why are you still here? Pajun leaned against the wall, defeated. I'm just spiritually exhausted. Where are those things? Luo Hao replied calmly, humans infected by some kind of unknown virus. Their brains are dead. They've become creatures driven only by hunger and violence. You can call them mutants or nightmares. Take your pick. Pajun was completely confused, infected by a virus. Wait, does that mean your powers and Zhao Yu genes are from the same thing? Luo Hao thought to himself, technically, yeah, but in the apocalypse saying powers come from a virus, that's a one-way ticket to execution. But hold up, why are mutants showing up now before the outbreak even begins? And that energy crystal earlier, could Chong Sudong be running some sort of secret lab? Pajun's eyes widened in horror. Wait a minute. Are you saying those monsters were once the girls locked in the cells? And then, like a thunderbolt, he remembered his own wife and daughter. No, don't tell me. Luo Hao stared at him for a few seconds before saying, that room ahead, it's probably the lab. If you're that worried, come see for yourself, but don't overthink it. If Chong Sudong's using them as leverage, he wouldn't risk turning them into monsters. They entered the next room. Massive glass tanks lined the walls filled with glowing green liquid. At the far end, a large pool bubbled ominously. Luo Hao narrowed his eyes. So it is artificial, explains why those mutant cores were all defective. Chan Sedong, you absolute maniac. Where the hell did you get this much mutation fluid? Military Black Ops. Underground research labs. Suddenly, Pijun bolted to one of the tanks. There's someone in there. Luo Hao shouted, don't touch the green stuff. It's probably infectious. But before he could say more, Luo Hao froze. The person inside the tank had opened their eyes. Pajun was also startled, instinctively stumbling back a step. Inside the tank, the woman suddenly shoved outward and the glass surface instantly cracked like a spider web. In the blink of an eye, she launched herself out like a predator. Before Pajun could react, a brutal kick landed on him, sending him flying toward the bubbling pool of green liquid. Luo Hao shouted, hey, you maniac. But mid-sentence, he froze as struck by lightning. Wait, I know her. The Ice Queen, Shen Qingwei. Memories from his past life came flooding back. His final encounter with her happened during a brutal monster horde attack. The members of the Soaring Talons mercenary corps were holding the front line, fighting tooth and nail against a wave of mutated beasts. Their leader, Xiao Zhanqian, an rank strength type Esper, was yelling orders while swinging his weapon, hold the damn line. If you fall back now, you're dead meat. Any word from command? One of the soldiers replied with a shaking voice. They said, just hang on a bit longer. Reinforcements are on the way. Xiao Zhanqian exploded, veins popping on his forehead. No reinforcements yet. What? You want us dying face down in mutant crap? All they say is hold the line. Damn bastards. This is a freaking beast tide, not a bar fight. Just then, a blinding blue beam shot down from the sky, slamming into the heart of the mutant horde. With a thunderous blast, the entire swarm was obliterated, bodies vaporized into shards, leaving behind a crater of silence. Boss, look up. Oh, finally. Not bad timing, I guess. Descending slowly on a trail of frost was a stunning woman with flowing blue hair and a dangerously curvy figure. In her hand gleamed a sword forged entirely of ice. A merc muttered, wait, they only sent her. Just one woman. Xiao slapped the back of his head. You trying to die here? I can't believe those old fossils actually let her out. Wait a sec. Is that her? The legendary Ice Queen, Shun, one strike and an entire mutant battalion gone. So this is what an S-class Esper looks like. The mercenaries were fired up. Hell yeah. We are saved. Hovering in midair, Sun Qingwei surveyed the battlefield with icy calm, but deep down, something fell off. They can mop up the rest. But why did this beast tide get so close to the base? Something's not right. Suddenly, a gut-wrenching scream tore through the air. Turned sharply. A towering mutant was gripping a writhing human in its claws, crushing him like a toy. She leapt forward, sword flashing, and plunged the blade into the creature's chest only to freeze. Half-faced, the pressure it gave off was terrifying. She called out to the mercs behind her, "You can't handle this one. Fall back. I'll cover you." Xiao Zhanqian yelled even louder. "You deaf or what? Move it. Unless you want to die here." As she stepped back, Shanxingyu's mind raced. A Lord-class mutant. Here. Don't tell me this whole beast tide was engineered. A trap. The grotesque mutant locked eyes with her, emitting a raspy, mocking laugh. Kick. Shanxing knew there was no escape. She raised her blade and charged, but in the next instant, smash. Her weapon shattered in a single blow. When she came to, she was lying in an unfamiliar room. Her wounds have been cleaned and bandaged. Her last memory, fighting that Lord-class monster. How am I still alive? Where am I? And who undressed me? Just then, Luo Hao pushed the door open. "You're awake. I found you passed out while scavenging nearby. What the hell happened to you?" He tossed her can. "Here, trust me, can food's gold these days. Eat something. You look like death." Back to the present. Pajun stumbled and splashed, fell straight into the green chemical pool. Luo Hao's brow furrowed. That woman, after her injury, he hadn't seen her once, not until the very end of his past life. What the hell is she doing in Changshu Dong's hidden facility? How did she even survive? Just then, suddenly grabbed her head and screamed, "Ah, my head, it's killing me. Don't touch me. Get away. All of you die." Her powers went berserk. Ice shards erupted like a storm, turning the entire basement into a frozen hellscape in seconds. Luo Hao's face froze. Damn it. She's trying to blow the whole place up. Is this woman insane? He shouted her name over and over, forcing his way through the blizzard of ice shards to reach her. This is God knows how many floors underground. If this place collapses, not even the gods can save us. Hey, are you trying to take me down with you? I don't know what happened, but can you just calm the hell down? Just as he finally reached her and stretched out his hand, he suddenly grabbed onto something soft. Both of them froze. Tom seemed to stop. Luo Hao awkwardly stammered, "W8. It's not what it looks like. I swear." But all of a sudden, Shan Qinghua lost it. Her temper flared and she launched a storm of ice spikes straight at Luo Hao. In a split, Luo Hao raised his hand and caught the deadly shards head-on. Even crazier, the bizarre mouth on his palm suddenly opened wide and devoured the incoming spikes one by one. The moment they disappeared, the ice was instantly converted into energy flowing through his body. Damn, that was close. You almost turned me into an ice sculpture. Luo Hao smirked. Have you lost your mind? That's not good. Didn't I say, calm down? Before she could react, he snapped back with a surge of electricity striking her directly. Xin Xingwei was completely caught off guard. Her body froze as the current hit her. With a flash, she collapsed to the ground unconscious. Only then did Luo remember what he'd missed, the guy who fell into that green pool earlier. Pajun still hadn't come back up. Luo Hao quickly reached into the green pool muttering nervously, crap, it's been too long. Don't tell me he actually drowned. Pajun, can you hear me? Are you still breathing? Feeling a faint pulse, Luo Hao finally let out a sigh of relief, but then his eyes narrowed suspiciously. He's been soaking in that weird liquid for so long. Try to stake him out now. If he mutates and teams up with that crazy woman, I'm toast. After hesitating, he shook his head. No. Based on my past life memories, he should be fine. Might even awaken powers. Better leave him for now. Bigger problem is that woman. I need something to tie her up before she gets back up. But before he could act, Shan Xingwei was already staggering to her feet, making Luo Hao tense up instantly. Sharp ice spikes started growing from her arms and back while strange guttural sounds gurgled from her mouth. G. Luo Hao frowned. Her ice armor must have interfered with the electricity. That's probably why she recovered so fast. Shan Xingyu's eyes locked onto him, filled with pure killing intent, like a predator ready to strike. She charged like a bolt of lightning. The sheer force of her assault made Luo Hao's heart skip a beat. What the hell? Is she possessed? A volley of ice spikes flew at him. Luo Hao reacted on instinct, launching a precise kick and shattering the mid-air, but the onslaught didn't stop. More spikes came flying at his head. Luo Hao barely dodged and cursed. She's seriously insane. It just won't end. Shen Qing was no longer human in form. Her body had clearly begun mutating. If no one stopped her now, even a famed Ice Queen would be lost to the virus forever. But electricity didn't work and he couldn't get close enough to land a power kick. Just as Luo Hao was losing his cool, the system popped up with a suggestion. Host may consider unlocking the gene lock. But before he could even read the details, the system interface was violently shattered, pierced straight through by another ice spike. Hey, could you give me A to finish reading? I'm trying to help you, you lunatic. As Luo Hao stumbled backward, he accidentally bumped into Pajun's unconscious body lying near the pool. That split-second distraction was enough. Another barrage of ice spikes flew toward him, sealing off every escape route. With nowhere left to run, Luo Hao clenched his jaw and hurled himself straight into the glowing green pool. As he sank, the blurred system interface finally came into focus. Host progression has reached 10%. Gene lock now available. Once unlocked, host may absorb viruses to increase strength. Proceed. Absorb. Are you serious right now? I'm literally running for my life. Where the hell am I supposed to find a bunch of viru? Wait. What? That's it. The virus. Luo Hao's eyes lit up. Wasn't this entire pool filled with viral essence? Without hesitation, he activated the strange mouth on his palm, furiously drawing in the infected water like a man possessed. Shan Qingyu stood by the pool, visibly stunned, watching the water begin to churn violently. The green liquid spiraled upward like a vortex, twisting into a mini tornado under some unseen force. From within that swirling mass, a figure slowly emerged, its silhouette glowing crimson like it had been forged in fire. It was Luo Hao, transformed by the virus he had just absorbed. His body now radiated an eerie blood-red aura. The mouth on his palm let out a loud, satisfied burp as if it had just feasted. Luo Hao opened his eyes again, sharper, darker, deadlier. He wasn't the same anymore. He had changed.